Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. I live another day. Today is the 1st of Muharram 1442. Welcome abroad. I'm blessed to live until this day, 1st of Muharram, and it's actually, well, on the other calendar, it's on the 20th of August 2020. Alhamdulillah. Dipanjangkan umur dan saya ada azam baru. In fact, this particular year, I am not going to be the kind and polite Khalid anymore when I am presenting you this particular part of the law. It's getting serious now. I think you know what I mean. So I can tegas, I'm sorry, you like me or not, none of my business, but you have to understand whatever I say in this particular video and get advice from other experts if they are experts. If they are not expert, find the experts. If you cannot find the experts, get the DOE. They are the prime, the supreme beholder of the law. Okay, now ini azam saya untuk awal Muharram 1442, dah tua, and very soon I'm going to leave you with this knowledge, and I want you to use this knowledge as far as it is applicable, and other knowledge which is coming kalau panjang umur saya. Now, ni apa cerita ni? Are you being caught? I dengar ada orang kena tangkap. Are you being caught? Come on. Caught by the FBE pula tu. Apa ni FBE? What is FBE? Federal Bureau of Engagement. Ya ke? Ha? Nak bertunang kena jumpa FBE. No. Kalau bertunang tak dapat approval FBE, kena tangkap. No. Apa ni FBE? Federal Bureau of Examination. Kalau meniru waktu exam, kena tangkap FBE. No. So kita rakyat Malaysia ni kena faham undang-undang. Now the law dalam Malaysia ni, kita rakyat Malaysia yang biasa-biasa ni, we have to know the law and there is no excuse for not knowing the law. Please remember that. Penal code. Ya, tak ada excuse kita tak tahu undang-undang. So ini kerja saya. This is my job. My obligations to Malaysian community, especially the industrial and businesses sector, to help you understand this law. So jangan buang video ni ke laut. Beri pada orang lain, share pada orang lain so dia orang faham undang-undang. I am happy if they are not caught by the FBE or by the law. Ini apa ni? FBE, what is it? Lepas tu ada Clean Air Regulation. Ni apa cerita ni Khalid ni pagi-pagi ni? Clean Air Regulations 2014. Ada pula satu lagi, second schedule. Can we be caught by the FBE under second schedule? Ini apa cerita awal Muharram ni? Alright, so I am bringing you to this major understanding so that you understand well, and understand not just well, better than well. I hope you are well. I hope I am well. And I hope all the others are well and you are also in the well. Okay. Now, let's get into the next slide. I want to show you this. Ni apa cerita FBE ni? Federal Bureau ke apa benda ni? Ha? Apa cerita? Take a look. Apa tu? Do you have this? Burner, smelter, furnace. Wah, ini apa ni? Besar betul. Hulk. Ini bukan Hulk Hogan atau Incredible Hulk. This is a big, huge genset. Siapa pakai? Biasanya construction industry. Ini dia FBE. Rupanya FBE ni Fuel burning equipment. So apa hal? Apa salah saya? Apa salah kita? Fuel burning equipment. Boleh ke kita tak nak tenaga elektrik? We refuse electrical energy daripada tenaga nasional Berhad contohnya. Kita tak nak, kita beli satu genset. Ni nama genset tau. Satu genset, generator set, short form genset. Satu genset besar ini sama besar dengan kereta kita. Lepas tu letak depan rumah. Lepas tu kita onkan. Malam aja kita on. Boleh? Boleh tak? Rakyat Malaysia, boleh ke kita beli genset ni? We buy this genset, purchase this genset, install in front of our house, and we tell people we don't want any electrical supply from Tenaga Nasional. We want to generate our own electrical power by buying ourselves, installing ourselves a huge genset. Consumption of diesel per month is much less than what we pay Tenaga Nasional. Contohlah, kita bayar Tenaga Nasional every month dengan 2 unit aircon, 3 unit aircon, RM500 sebulan. So kita beli diesel untuk genset ni on waktu malam saja. Letak depan rumah. Porch rumah kita gitu penuh dengan genset ni. Boleh? Can we do that? In Malaysia, in this country. Sebab tu kena faham, tuan-tuan, puan-puan, ahli-ahli yang YOUNG yang berhormat, kita ada negara yang ada kedaulatan undang-undang, rukun negara, remember? So kita rakyat Malaysia, I tak tahulah, lebih daripada wajib patuh kepada undang-undang negara kita. Foreign investor datang sini daripada US, daripada Jepun, daripada Denmark, daripada Sweden, daripada Germany, all over the world, datang ke Malaysia, patuh undang-undang Malaysia. Yang kita rakyat Malaysia nak buat ikut suka. Sedangkan kita ada undang-undang. Boleh pasang fuel burning equipment, genset merata-rata. Cubalah pasang depan rumah. Genset apa jadi? So, I am bringing you to this law. Ini dah nampak kan, Khalid ni tak bunyi friendly dah. Sebab apa? Kenapa I tak bunyi friendly? I dapat WhatsApp. The agency, authority sekarang ni sudah mula menegaskan undang-undang dengan melakukan enforcement visit to all businesses, especially industries. Dah terima WhatsApp hari-hari saya. Semua berita yang sama. Sebab apa? Selama ini, kerajaan, agensi kerajaan telah memberikan kelonggaran kepada all Malaysian businesses. They have been very, very kind, giving us the time to understand the law, to look into the law, to study the law. Then we were given time to comprehend what we need to do under the law. How are we subscribing to the law? Ini baru cerita one part of the law tau. Baru FBE, fuel burning equipment. So, kalau you sayangkan ke restoran mamak you tu, restoran favorite you tu, hotel favorite, dan any outlet yang ada genset, please send them this video. Kenapa? Question is, are we subjected to this law? Remember that Regulation 3? Industry and businesses. Tengok balik video saya. Clean Air Regulation, CAR 214, Regulation 3. Businesses, trading, industries, subjected to this law. So, macam rumah kita residential tu, tak perlukan genset because we have a cheaper energy to pay for Tenaga Nasional. And genset is not allowed in residential areas macam ni. Alright, so now, get to this question. Are we subjected to this law? some of us were already caught under Clean Air Regulation 2014, under Regulation 13, second schedule, because we did not notify. Now, this law, fuel burning equipment ni, yang mana yang subjected to the emission standard? Do we have to notify which emission standard from the exhaust of this fuel burning equipment? Our boiler lah, our furnace lah, our thermo oil heater lah, our primary burner, secondary burner, tertiary burner, our oven, our dryer, you name it. Our boiler, you name it. Semua ni adalah fuel burning equipment. But which one yang subjected to second schedule? Not just notification to DOE tau. Sekarang nak tanya, kalau yang kecil macam mana? Alright, now, fuel burning equipment. Take a look at the law. Do you see this one or not? I guna perkataan apa? Hawk. Huge. Mula-mula, I nak sebut tentang huge fuel burning equipment. How huge? You nampak tak ni? Solid fuel berapa? Tengok this one. Kalau kita punya fuel burning equipment, apa? Oven. Apa dia? Furnace. Apa dia? Crematoria. Ini alat tempat membakar jenazah atau mayat. Dryer. Menggunakan solid fuel. What is solid fuel? Solid fuel ni contoh dia yang terbaik, yang paling popular adalah arang. Termasuk arang batu, charcoal and coal stones. Wood chips, ada juga yang pakai wood chips, ada juga yang pakai sawdust, ada juga using kernel as a solid fuel. Dia crushkan kernel tu, pulverize the kernel menjadi kernel pellets, menjadi fuel which is high in calorific value pun ada. Ada juga yang guna fiber daripada tandan kelapa sawit. Ada juga daripada pulp yang mereka koyak daripada sawmill. Pulp tu dia koyak, tapi pulp ni biasa dia tak bakar. Pulp ni buat kertas. Dia panggil sayung, buat kertas. So they are not used as fuel burning. So all this solid is being used as fuel. Therefore, the law says, ni dengar baik-baik. If we are using solid fuel as much as 30 kilogram per hour, berapa? 30 kilogram per hour or more, then our fuel burning equipment is subscribing to the second schedule. Faham tak? So if we have huge equipment called fuel burning equipment that burn solid fuel, as I said earlier, I gave example, at the consumption of 30 kilogram per hour, then we are subscribing to second schedule. Otherwise, which do we subscribe to? Kalau small, subscribe to mana? Answer is coming later. And then the next one, if our fuel burning equipment is using liquid fuel, including liquid natural gas, diesel, petrol, light fuel oil, medium fuel oil, heavy fuel oil, or even waste solvent. Ada yang guna waste solvent dalam secondary burner. Very good. You are not wasting the solvent. Alright, use oil, use hydraulic oil, mix dengan solvent, jadi fuel. Good. But if the quantity is 15 kilogram or more, nampak tak? Do you see this? 15 kilogram or more of all this solid fuel, of this, sorry, liquid fuel, we are subjected, our fuel burning equipment is subjected to the second schedule of the Clean Air Regulations. Walaupun per unit burner to maybe 5 kilogram, tetapi we have got 10 units in our same premise, memang kena juga, because total consumption of all the fuel burning equipment. We may have one small unit in some area and a few other small units in some other area of our production and a few other units for other processes within the same premise, within the same factory. It's the total amount of fuel used for all the fuel burning equipment that is being considered as the total capacity, total fuel consumed for that particular equipment in one particular premise, in one particular lot number, in one particular factory. So if it is more than 15 kilogram per hour, my friends, we are subjected to this particular law. Are you following? So ask ourselves, do we have huge? Ini siapa ni biasa ni? Sorry lah, I cakap subcontractor to main contractor under construction. Kadang-kadang subcontractor ni degil. Main contractor dah ada dah competent person, dah ada dah environmental auditors, dah advise dah. Main contractor bagi compound lagi kepada subcontractors. Untuk comply to the environmental law. Main contractor ada competent person, ada environmental auditors. They go around. Dia siap compound lagi subcontractor, masih degil lagi subcontractor dekat Malaysia ni. Pelik betul lah. Why you want to wait for DOE to come? Kalau you tunggu DOE datang, this particular law, no more compound, my friend. Caught. And it's a crime. Any contravention license, any contravention of any provisions of the Malaysian environmental law is a crime. Seizeable offence. Boleh kena tindakan mahkamah terus. Kalau sangkut kesalahan atau sabit kesalahan, if we are found guilty by the court, we are entitled for maximum 5 years free food and drink and or 100,000 ringgit penalty. So you want to pay for that? You think it's worth it? Sebab tu I buat video ni. Ramai yang tak tahu lagi. So every now and then, new subcon come up to do the business. But they do not know the law. So kalau you yang tengok video ni, you are the main contractor, you are the competent person for this law, under this law, you are the environmental auditor, you are the environmental consultant, you are the environmental trainer. Dengan ini, saya serahkan video ni pada you, I finish my job. It's your responsibility to shoot out this video to all those parties who doesn't know about the law. It's your responsibility now. I've done my part. Pasal dulu, sebelum ada CPD, IMAS buat CPD, I punya training in 1999, 1998 sampai the year 2007, MDCO datang, PhD, doktor sana, doktor sini, owner of companies, HSC manager, sampailah operator kilang datang nak dengar I explain tentang law. Tapi bila IMAS buat CPD, which is good, adanya competent person, you know what happened now? What happened today? Yang datang training competent person. Kenapa? Nak CPD. Bukan nak ilmu. Do you understand that? That is why I buat video ni. Because ramai kat luar sana yang bukan competent person, they are already operating this equipment without them knowing about the law. So it's your responsibility to let them know. Pass them this video. So you punya apa ni tanggungjawab untuk menerangkan tu is gone, dah selesai. You tak payah terangkan, biar dia lihat video ni, dia faham sendiri. Okay, tak faham baru tanya you atau tanya DOE atau tanya competent person. Ramai yang pandai-pandai, trainer, consultant, ramai out there, but these people doesn't approach those experts. Kadang-kadang dia approach orang yang ilmu separuh masak, dia bagi dia ilmu dengan mazhab sendiri. They interpret on their own free willing. So that I'm sorry I said that, but I told you I won't be kind to you anymore. I tak akan polite dalam video ni. I have to be stern. Now watch. Let us go to the next slide. I hope you understand that. I have said what I need to say. Now I have to go to next slide. Now look. Do you see that? This particular law, which is called Environmental Quality Clean Air Regulation, is for Regulation 13. Look, dia regulate apa tau? Kalau kita pakai fuel burning equipment yang besar dan kita juga duduk dalam industri listed in first schedule or not, this equipment is subscribing to second schedule. What are this equipment? Tengok. Which are not covered by first schedule. Termasuklah fuel burning equipments. Apa fuel burning equipment? Ini incinerator dah cover tau in the first schedule. But there are some other incinerator not covered by the first schedule, which is quite remote. Now look. Termasuklah tadi gambar bar bender, krematoria, termasuklah genset, all these equipment, thermal oil heater dan sebagainya, all this equipment, the law regulate apa tu? Look. The fuel quality. Hebatnya law ni. This law is absolutely doing a lot to prevent acid rain, the environmental impact for the emission of sulfur dioxide into the air, as everybody know, is acid rain, and this auxiliary impact of having acid rain is damaged civil structure, damaged soil, topsoil ecological balance. Ini acid rain punya kesan kepada environment. Tapi tak banyak yang tulis sebab ni, saya pun malas nak tulis, saya baca je. Alright. Now, the law says what? Tengok, look carefully. Liquid fuel, kalau kita pakai liquid fuel, diesel, apa lagi? Liquid natural gas, apa lagi? Kerosene, apa lagi? You name it. Yang liquid. Look, the law regulate what? What does the law regulate? Nampak tak ni? Sulfur content has got to be below 500 parts per million weight to weight. For every weight, for example, 1 kilo of that diesel, you can calculate lah, dah dapat volume diesel, you can tahu specific gravity dia kan, dia punya specific density. Multiply, then you dapat weight dia per kilo. In that per kilo, or per ton, or per 100 ton of sulfur, the concentration of sulfur of that fuel in that fuel must be below 500 parts per million. So what do you do next? Yang ini, ahli-ahli yang berhormat tu makna competent person. And those of you yang bawah umur 40, I call you yang berhormat. Pasal the future is in your hands. Okay? Yang mana muda-muda ni, you are going to go into the future with this knowledge, and your level of knowledge in the future is much higher than orang tua ni. So I'm feeding you with all this knowledge you bawa ke depan. Look, 500. So what to do next? You kena bagi satu memo. Purchase memo kepada siapa? Procurement. Procurement bukan tengok video ni. Okay? Procurement tak kisah tentang competent person. Kebanyakan tak kisah, oh kita ada competent person, apa-apa hal jumpa competent person. Wah, itu saja. Tapi bila kita minta bajet, so ini you kena serahkan memo ni kepada purchasing officer atau procurement, tell them under the law, this is a legal binding directive. Tak patuh, criminal offence. Kena beritahu dia macam tu. Okay? That when they purchase liquid fuel, they have got to make sure the supplier of that liquid fuel gives along with the fuel what is called SDS. You dah tahu kan SDS, especially SHO, orang health safety ni hebat SDS, dia tahu. Okay? Kadang-kadang dia SHO, CAM, competent person, dust collector, apa nak buat? Kam-kam je lah semua. Alright. So, kena berikan memo ataupun work instruction sheet. Bukan work instruction sheet. Work instruction sheet atau SOP to procurement. Tell them in black and white based on regulation 13 second schedule. Part 1, control of fuel burning equipment. We must purchase liquid fuel which contains less than 500 ppm per weight of sulfur. Kau tim deh. Itu maksud dia, siapa dah kenal saya tahulah. Kau tim tu apa ni Chinese punya verb. I tak tahu apa maknanya. Katanya settle. So bila dah settle, past tense, kau tim deh. Sedang settle, kau teaming. Faham? Alright, understand? Alright, good. Now let's go into coal. Now, I nak tanya, berapa ramai, berapa banyak dan berapa ramai purchasing officers, purchasing department, purchasing manager, procurement yang memilih coal all over the world to be used in this country, tell their supplier that for every weight of coal they send in to our country must be less than 1% content of sulfur. Ada? Ini you kena faham. So nampak gaya, this particular law is quite friendly. For liquid fuel, make sure sulfur content sahaja. Kalau pakai coal, alright, percentage weight of sulfur. Okay, and for crematoria or other sort of fuel burning equipment that uses wood, like, you know, look at this, wood chips. Bila wood ni, it could be wood chips, sawdust, semua wood based, all right, and many other wood sort of waste. I don't call it waste anyway. These are materials, all right, and also agriculture waste, like what? You tebang pokok kelapa sawit yang sudah tua. Yalah, bila dah tua tebang. Kan? Dah tua, tak boleh pakai lagi. Yang bercakap ni pun dah tua, tak lama lagi kena tebang lah. Alright? So, agriculture waste like what? Pokok kelapa sawit, batang kelapa sawit, dahan kelapa sawit. Apa dia buat? They let it rot and dry. Itu dia panggil mulching, which is a very good environmental process, alright, mulching. Lepas tu dia dry, kita ambil, kita boleh hancurkan dia. And then we can use it, kita hancurkan dan kita keringkan, we can use it as fuel dalam kita punya fuel burning equipment yang menggunakan solid fuel. Nampak? Tetapi it has got to be in its natural condition. Macam batang kelapa sawit, batang pokok getah. Batang pokok getah janganlah bakar. Buat perabot. Okay, we can reuse, we can convert all these into products, especially batang kelapa sawit. Dia kalau rot dekat ladang kelapa sawit, dia jadi bulger, itu dia panggil mulching. And kalau dah kering kan, kalau dah hancur sedikit, kalau dah biomass dah kurang, ambil, dry it, hancurkan, dry, boleh guna jadi fuel, jangan buang. My dictionary, waste doesn't exist. Yang mana dah kenal, saya kenal lah. Alright, yang tak kenal, sorry. Salam perkenalan, satu Muharram. Khalid hari ini dia jadi Incredible Hulk. Okay. Now, tengok. Tetapi, be careful jangan pula construction industry, tengok. Ada pula cell cure punya kayu. Ini semua jadi waste. Ini dah law lah ni. Kalau kayu-kayu scaffolding ataupun kayu-kayu formwork daripada construction industry, biasanya saya advise pakai balik. Kalau tak boleh pakai balik untuk formwork, pakai balik untuk buat pallets. Guna jadikan pallets. Nak jadikan pallets kuat senang je. You punya SW306 tu sapu pada kayu tu, you nail it jadi pallet. Pallet tu tahan. Nak belajar dengan Khalid dan ramai orang lain tapi tak dapat nak mengajar. Tapi you nak tahu kayu tu nak tahan, tunggu ni, tanya orang tua ni hidup lagi. I dah buat. Okay. So kayu-kayu yang dah ada stain of paint, dah tercemar dengan cat, dah tercemar dengan bahan kimia, undang-undang ini larang. We are not allowed to use all those contaminated wooden parts or wooden structures as fuel, because why? Those paints contains chemical, especially volatile organics, all right, organic chemicals. It contain pigments, it contain a lot of petrochemical dye stuff or coloring, binders, solvents. So when we use it in this kind of fuel burning equipment, it can emit obnoxious, if not hazardous, otherwise extremely hazardous material after the combustion into the air. We don't want that. That is why we don't allow, sorry, not we, the law doesn't allow the use, the burning of all these contaminated wood and wooden planks or whatever in the crematoria or in the incinerator or in the furnace. Not allowed, because it can cause the emissions of toxic and hazardous air pollutants into the atmosphere. I hope that's clear. Got it? Now, residue from wood-based industries. There you are. But must be without wood preservative. Kalau you buat cell curing, ada wood preservative. Dia ada dipping process, dia ada drying process, dia ada coating process. Those wood, not allowed to be used as solid fuel. Okay, that is for what we call it biomass. Okay, all right, for coal, understand. For sulfur content, for liquid fuel, you know now what to do. So all these things, tolong, if you are purchasing biomass for your industry, please include all these legal directive into your purchase order. So you dekat procurement, selamat, competent person, safe. You have done your part. So when those material datang, ask for a sample of analysis. Is there any of this contaminant in their supply of materials? It's up to you. You got to check. That is your responsibility. Got it? Do you understand me? So, are you caught by the FBE? Look, this is when we talk about, just now was about fuel quality, remember? And now this law is governing what is called emission. into the air. First, the law control the quality of fuel, be it solid, be it liquid. There is specification for the sulfur content, concentration of sulfur. In this part, still regulation 13, table 2. For liquid fuel, look, the law is specifying loading. So this is about the emission from the stack, from the exhaust, from the LEDs, from the ducting, from the outlets of all those huge fuel burning equipment. Remember, we are talking about huge fuel burning equipment that uses, remember, more than 30 kilogram per hour of solid fuel, which uses equivalent to or more than 15 kilogram per hour of liquid fuel. So look, listen carefully. Before we talk about the parameters like carbon monoxide, like total particulate matter, before your consultant do that, tell them they have to measure the load first of the emission from your respective stack and exhaust and chimneys. Measure the load first. How to do it? Sample your normal isokinetic stack sampling sample, but measure flow rate. And load is flow rate multiplied by concentration. Mechanical engineer, chemical engineer, you know this better than I do, my friend. Flow rate multiplied by concentration, you get mass over time, that is load. So do that first. At the same time, get the concentration. Yes, no problem. For what? For carbon monoxide and total particulate matter. Look, there is two parts here. Part A, if the loading is more than 0.33 but less than 1, look, carbon monoxide, no need, not applicable, but only total particulate matter has got to be less than 50 milligram per cubic meter, and the monitoring frequency requirement is stipulated in this particular law, in this particular schedule, for once a year. If the loading is more than 0.33 and less than 1. What if the loading is less than 0.033? If the loading is less than 0.33, sorry, what does it mean? What does it mean? It means you don't subscribe to this particular standard. Got it? Meaning you don't have to do monitoring. Simple as that. Got it? Dah. Otherwise, you got to check with the DOE. They have their own, you know, reasons for every instruction that they give. Please consult them. But from my discussion with my friends, you remember the 5 people that we have to hang out until 3 a.m. in the morning for whole week in Concord Shah Alam? This is what they come up with for me. Now, when the dust load is equivalent to or more than 1, look, this is talking about liquid fuel, remember? Carbon monoxide, no need. But total particulate matter is also at 50 milligram per cubic meter, but you got to do the monitoring twice a year. Got it? That is when we use liquid fuel. So competent person, HSC managers, finance manager, be aware of this requirement and please give the budget to your respective competent person and department to do this. Otherwise, the legal liability is a criminal offense under Malaysian law. And who wants to go to court if you don't approve it? If you don't approve the budget, then you got to answer in court. The competent person can say, Yang Ariff, saya tidak mengaku bersalah because saya sudah minta bajet daripada finance department, tapi finance department tidak luluskan. Tetapi kelulusannya tidak bertulis. Never mind, okay, fine. Kadang-kadang kelulusan daripada finance ni verbal. Pandai finance. Khalid lagi pandai. Okay. Yang Ariff, minta maaf, saya mohon dibicarakan. There you are. The next person court boleh subpoena is purchasing manager or finance director or a chief finance officer, CFO. Jangan sampai berlaku benda tu. So all these things, you as top management, you must understand. Jangan cakap, oh kita ada competent person, let them do the work for us. Kita punya competent person, kita ada jamban. You just release anything to them, let them handle scrubber, let them handle dust collector, ESP. You are wrong, my friend. Competent person can go to court and tell the court, Yang Ariff, I have done my part, but the budget was not approved. Apa you nak jawab? Top management. Nak minta tolong DOE. DOE nak selesaikan kes sama ada you bersalah atau tidak. You think DOE wants to help you? They have the law. And they are having problem getting the law across to people because people ignore the law. That's a problem. All right. Now, let's take a look into solid fuel. Kalau pakai solid fuel, tengok. Ini semua loading. So, consultant, contractor yang buat sampling, be wary of this. All right. Now, kita pergi yang jauh sekali. Tengok, ini semua loading 0.44. Semua nampak? Watch. I nak tunjuk ada satu. Kalau loading kita, tengok yang ni betul-betul. Tengok yang ini betul-betul. Kalau loading kita more than 2.5. Apa dia? Kilogram per hour. Our emission standard for carbon monoxide is 1,000. Kau tim dah. But then, our emission standard for total particulate matter is 150. Kau tim, no problem. But tengok apa ni? Sorry, muka saya terlindung. This is requirement for what? C E M. What is that? It means if we are using solid fuel for our fuel burning equipment and the dust load, remember, is more than or equals to 2.5 kilogram per hour, we are obliged under this law to install an equipment, a continuous emission monitoring system at our stack and get connected with the telephone line, and DOE will have access to our emission all the time. You have got to purchase and install. But before you do that, analyze dulu. Do this monitoring. Get the picture. What is your emission standard? Sebab itu dekat sini ada disadvantage kalau you guna solid fuel such as wood chips, wood planks. You got to make sure you cut it small so that you've got more surface area to volume ratio in your combustion, and you can adjust the combustion stoichiometry so that you have more power output but less emission of total particulate matter. So kalau you bakar wood chips atau wooden planks yang basah atau fiber yang basah, you had it already. Not just total particulate matter, but you end up getting smoke and opacity more than 2. Okay, so that is why this law is giving you this particular range of compliance. So you take a look for that particular loading once a year. The next loading is twice a year, and then next loading is 3 times a year. Loading 2.0 to 2.5 is 4 times environmental monitoring per year, and when the loading is more than 2.5, CEMS. All right, Yang Berhormat, my fellow environmental trainers, consultant, I hope you're able to digest this. This law is getting deeper. I'm going to bring you to every part of the law, inshallah, God's willing. So for those of you yang belum subscribe, please subscribe, because when you subscribe, the moment I upload information macam ni, you will get it first. And I think there's a notification button. I'm not good at all that, but I'm telling you to subscribe, because every time I load, you dapat maklumat ni. And who knows, after reading this law, after listening to me, DOE datang ketuk pintu. Siapa nak tolong? At least you dah tahu your liability and what you need to do. So comment bawah this particular what they call a video, ada comment. I am obliged to answer you kalau ada question. All right, and this is the best that I could do so far. I hope the video is clear for you, and wish me in good health and luck, and I wish everybody selamat menyambut tahun baru Muharram 1442. Have a prosperous year ahead. Kita doakan COVID-19 tidak hinggap pada kita. To all our friends, our saudara mara, adik-beradik, and all our colleagues and everybody whom we know, free from COVID-19 infections, and hopefully we get vaccinated soon. Kita doa vaksin to discover early for us to benefit and for us to have a good, a healthy life. All right. So that's about it for today, for this particular video. All right. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Do I have to tell you always? If you think it's important to you and your colleagues, do subscribe. All right, simple as that. Ini bukan video what do you call it? Apa itu dipanggil? Video viral artis bernikah, artis bercerai. This is ilmu. You subscribe, you share it. InsyaAllah you dapat keberkatan. Pahala tu I tak boleh nak visualize macam mana rupa, but insyaAllah you akan dapat all this benefit. We share everything together. So until the next time, minta maaf terkasar bahasa, tapi Khalid tak akan polite lagi, I promise you. Alright, I promise you, as far the law is concerned. So saya minta maaf terkasar bahasa. I apologize for any harsh language. I thank you for your time, thank you for your attention. So I see you in the next video, inshallah. For the moment, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.